All right, positive energy all the time. Good to see you all. Yes, indeed. Another conversation about health, pushing the line with health. I'm trying to push that. I'm going to be pushing it harder and harder as the days go on. I've been trying to working out a little bit myself, and Monday I'm going to turn it up some. I'm not looking forward to it. So the really difficult workout start for me Monday. And there we have it. I got to try to figure out how I can get my workouts on and do my late night live streams. It looks like my workouts are going to be happening in the evening time, probably not in the morning. But I got certain goals I'm trying to accomplish with that. So I'm trying to put my life on hold a little bit for my health's sake. So I'm taking years off now in the front end to add years on the back end. So I'm not doing a bunch of fun, what people call fun. I'm not doing a bunch of hanging out. I'm taking a couple years just to focus. And part of that focus is health. So everybody's out, cockeyed, kikiing. I'll be doing crunches and lifting weights. I talked to my daughter about this. I told her I'm really trying to have a good time in my 70s when I'm 70. So I have to make a decision if I want to be in my 70s. So I made a decision to cut back. I think right now, my advice would be to everybody is lose weight. Unless you're in really good shape, get the fat off your body. If you have any flab on you, any at all, it's time to resculpture your body. Take it like very serious. Not to the point where you go get surgery and all of that, you know. But you might want to if you're way overweight and you lose weight and you got a bunch of hanging skin, you might want to go and try to figure out how to get that taken care of. I could see that. But it's definitely time to tighten up. If you're older, it's a 911. If you're younger, it's serious because you need to be trying to get in the best shape ever. You need to start putting fun in its proper perspective. And you need to start putting your health ahead of fun. Because people are putting fun in front of health and they're not having that much fun because they don't feel well. It really doesn't make a lot of sense. There is a concept that, enjoy life, but it's never put into the right perspective. Um, what does that mean? Because I don't think going to dialysis 3 times a week is fun. And I don't think that there's nothing I could do that would be so much fun over here that would make me want to go to dialysis over here. I don't think so. So I'm trying to really focus on that. I'll be 68 in February. So that's a big deal. And for me, my peers are a lot of motivation. You know, they're not doing so well. And my elders, they're doing horribly. One advantage that you have in life is being able to see different generations. And by me being born in 1958 and coming up, I was able to see my great grandparents. I was able to see my grandparents, and I was able to see how those generations lived, how their health were, how they were functioning, and it was some slight decrease from my great grandmother to my grandfather. My great grandmother lived to be 117. My grandfather lived to like 97, something like that. That's a lot of years, like 20 years earlier. But my mother, she only made it to her 70s. So imagine my mother's grandmother doing 117 and my mother only doing 70. My mother ended up getting like cancer of the uterus. And she didn't eat much. She was a slim woman, and but she used a lot of these products that were pretty new at that time. That I don't want to say any products because I don't want to say they were responsible, but a lot of the makeup, perfume, stuff people putting on their bodies is not really healthy. And so eating better is a very, very, very important because when you don't eat, when you don't try to clean up your food, then everything else that you're dealing with would be toxic because you will not have the concept of cleaning up things. So when you get the concept of cleaning up what you're drinking, cleaning up what you're eating, it's a concept that makes you want to eat clean, eat clean. It's a concept where, you know what, I don't want this in my body. I got to cut back on all this plastic. Why are they selling me all my stuff in plastic, right? So you want to cut back. You want to cut back. And when you do that with the food, you start to develop this mentality of avoiding unnecessary sicknesses. And in the process of you trying to avoid sicknesses and plastic and chemicals in the food, you begin to look at the chemicals in everything else. So now you begin to look at your cologne, you begin to look at your makeup, you begin to look at your deodorant, your toothpaste, you begin to look at your cleaning supplies. You start to think, okay, I'm finna mop this floor. I got a little baby, 2 years old, 3 years old, crawling around on the floor. So I got to keep the floor clean. But am I taking the dirt up? What am I cleaning it with? And is this stuff that I'm putting on the floor, is this a problem? Is this powder that I'm putting in the carpet to make the carpet smell good, is this a problem? Is the carpet a problem? Is the carpet forever chemicals? What am I bathing my baby in? What am I washing up? What is in this soap? You know, when I go to a regular store to get shampoo, they don't have any shampoo that I could use. I mean, every now and then I'll find one. But when you read the shampoo, there's really no shampoo in there. If you go to Walmart, Target, all those stores and read the shampoo, and they got it looking like natural. They got plants and stuff on it, call it herbal this and that. But when you read it, it's a whole bunch of stuff in there, you know. So I go through a lot just for that. I have to go and, you know, get my shampoo. I have to make an effort to get shampoo that's clean. Soap, you can always get Castile soap depending on what store, and that's pure coconut soap. That's great. But soap is you can find soap a little easier, a little bit. But shampoo, you got to really search. Shampoo, you gotta really search. Now there are people now that's making some clean stuff to wash your dishes with, to mop your floors. It's coming along, but it's still requiring a lot of reading and things like that. You know, I dodge a lot of problems with Amazon. Salute to Amazon. I love Amazon because stores can only carry so much different products, but Amazon has endless things you can get because they can have it but not really have it and get it and send it to you. So a lot of the rare herbs or really great soap or really great, I get it from Amazon. And when you got Amazon Prime, you get free delivery. So it's definitely worth it. You don't have to run all over the place. You know, you can just get your stuff sent to you. Like I got some barbells from them, some 15-pound barbells. Because I got like some 20-pound barbells where I'm trying to do these curls. And 20 pounds is cool. I could do it, but I'd rather get more reps. So I'd use the 20 pounds for certain exercise, but the 15 I'm gonna be using for curls, right? To try to uh, get my muscle definition up higher as I get older. So as I get older, and as you naturally get more feeble, and as you naturally get a little more unstable the way you walk, you exercise to cover that. So now you're not aging like you would be. And so over the last 4 or 5 years, I've reversed my aging quite a bit. You could tell too. You just have to stick with it. If on the side note, if you're working out and exercising, right, never work out or exercise with a quick result mentality. Make it a 3 year thing. Make it like 3 years. Ladies, if you're trying to lose weight, right? Make it like 3 years. Because when you make it like 3 years, you won't pressure yourself. So let's say you do your little exercise, you're doing fine. You're doing it, you do it once, you want to do it so many times a week. The first week you do it, the second week you do it. You miss the third week, the fourth week you do it. Something happens, you fall off, you're not doing it all. Well, that's really not no problem. because you got a 3-year plan. And so that first year, just try to do the best you can, but you know that the next year going to come, right? And then you're going to do better the next year. This helps you stay with it. Because when you got a 3-year plan, a 4-year plan, you never mess up, right? So you never mess up because this is only year one. And you'll find that with that 3-year plan, instead of waiting to New Year's and then having a resolution when New Year's come, you just finishing what you was doing last year. So like instead of like, oh, I'm gonna get in shape, when the next year come, you're like, oh, this year I'm gonna do better than I did last year. Well, with that mentality, eventually you really will. Eventually, one of those months and one of those years, it's going to kick in. Because every little bit you're doing, you're going to feel better and better, and you're going to want to do it. And so I always remember exercising goals like this. At first, you don't want to do it. If you don't want to do it, just keep doing it. Keep doing it. 6 weeks, 8 weeks. If you can pull off 6 weeks and 8 weeks, the next 6 or 8 weeks, you still are not going to want to do it. But because you put the time in, and y'all know how we are, it becomes a battle as you don't want to waste your other time. So you're like, I done did this for 6 weeks, so you're not going to want to quit. So the first 6 weeks or 8 weeks, you're going to make yourself do it, and you don't want to do it. The second 6 or 8 weeks, you're going to do it because you don't want to waste the first 6. So you still ain't going to want to do it, but you ain't going to not want to do it. So it becomes a mentality where the mentality is you feel bad when you don't do it. You still don't want to do it, but you done did this 6 or 8 weeks. And so now you're like, I don't want to do this, but I already did all of this. So you'll go ahead and you'll do it. And if you could do those two times, if you could do 6 or 8 weeks, even if you mess up, and if you can make yourself do it the next 6 or 8 weeks, the third time, you're going to want to do it. And even if you miss days, you're going to still want to do it. And that's where you're going to know the difference. So even if you miss days, or even if you don't do it days, you're going to do it. It ain't no you ain't going to do it. So you might not work out for 2 or 3 weeks, but in your mind, you're going to go do it because the first 2 times put you in that state of mind. And when you get that, you in there. Now, with that mentality and a 3-year plan, you're good to go. You're good to go. And it will kick in because you're going to hit patches where you do it and see results. You're going to be standing up quicker. You're going to be feeling better. And then that becomes a thrill. You know what I'm saying? It becomes a thrill and you can actually tell the difference. It's amazing. So today, I want to talk about that year in, year out, year in, year out. And the main thing that is, especially Americans, that is really not good for our health is holidays. Holidays are basically doctor's appointments. Seriously. Holidays are horrible because we don't have ourselves together. So we're gathering in a situation where we don't have ourselves together. And the holidays are tied in with the economics. See what I'm saying? And so we're just citizens, but the system doesn't really care about holidays in terms of the holidays. The system is dealing with holidays in terms of economics. It's a moneymaker to keep the economy flowing. So whereas you think, as you're thinking from this holiday, and then you look up to that holiday, and then you look up and it's that holiday, and you're going trying to enjoy your life, the system is not thinking from holiday to holiday. The system is thinking of the whole string of holidays. It's a holiday system. That's why, boom, right away, what do? Boom. They drop the calendar every year and let you know what? This is a holiday. This is a holiday. That means somebody planning this and knows this. This is known way in advance. When are the holidays going to fall? And the holidays are set up in a way that are 100% unhealthy. We have to make holidays healthy. We have to totally change holidays. And holidays have to be healthy. Period. 100%. We must change holidays to represent health. In other words, when we get the family together, we're not getting the family together to make them sicker. We're going to get the family together and we're going to try to make everybody healthier. The stuff we're going to eat, the stuff we're going to do is going to be to make sure that everybody's alive next year at this holiday. Instead of having a holiday and you feeding grandma in a way where grandma probably won't be back next year. And you ain't thinking, this stuff I'm feeding grandma too old to eat this stuff, and this stuff ain't no good, and this stuff is outdated, and this ain't even the stuff grandma used to eat. Because the stuff grandma used to eat wasn't 100% healthy either, and now it's even worse, and now the vegetables even worse, and now there's less vegetables. We got grandma eating trash. We got grandpa eating trash. We got aunt and our auntie eating trash. Talking about we glad to see them. I got a friend that just came to Chicago to a family function. An auntie, the oldest one. And she 90 something. And she said you should have seen all the pills she had and medicine she had. She's still hanging in there, but she said you should have seen all that medicine she owed. And she from back. It's her auntie, it's her mother's sister, the matriarch of the family, still holding in there. And the only reason she's holding in there is because the way she used to eat in Mississippi. Because if it wasn't for having a good start, she wouldn't be here. Now you got to ask yourself, and we got all these people that got a good start, grew up eating strong food, and it's starting to wipe them out in later years because of the bad food. Imagine what's going to happen with the next generation that ain't getting the food in Mississippi and in Alabama that they used to have. That food is not as strong as it used to be. They don't eat exactly the same way they used to be. McDonald's and all these people have infiltrated. And so, if you just look at the holidays and think about what we eat, it'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind. I'm going to show this a couple of times tonight. I put something together just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Okay? Now look at how we eat and look how close it is together. And not just eat, drink alcohol too. Check it out. Now, just imagine doing that year in and year out, year in and year out, year in and year out, on top of everything you're doing in between there. Just let that sink in. But we're not aware that we doing that like that. We're not aware. We're not aware we're doing that like that. Just Halloween and Valentine's Day alone is enough sugar to give you diabetes if you're doing that every year. And these days is back to back to back. And alcohol is mixed with all those days. I just didn't show it. I just showed the alcohol days. I just showed New Year's Eve, the alcohol day. But alcohol is also associated with all those days. And those days it's like boom, 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 boom. And then the year is over. Then it again, boom, 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 boom. Then again, boom, 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 boom. So like when summer comes and everybody go out and barbecue on the 4th of July, once they really bust them grills out and barbecue on the 4th of July, boom, they want to keep doing it. Because like you done went and you done did it once, so you know how it is. You do something once, it's easier the next time. So you done busted out for the summer. You done did it. So now people keep on barbecuing. They keep on barbecuing right through 4th of July, all summer. They keep on. And then Labor Day typically represents your last chance to barbecue, especially if you live up north. So they go out there Labor Day and they get the grill popping again. They get the grill popping again. And the whole time you just been eating bad. Your brother-in-law's in the hospital from a heart attack. I'm sorry to hear that, Kathy. I know Kathy, it's bad, and like we haven't been really paying no attention. Like the way it's happening, it's like It's happening quietly. Like, your brother, and then his sister, his auntie, and then his mama, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. And it's quietly, they just dropping. And they just sick quietly. I mean, it's bad. Hardly everybody got pharmaceuticals in the house. It's hardly nobody ain't got no pills in the house they have to take. That don't have high blood pressure. Sugar's messed up. Try to keep their sugar down. All type of stuff. Migraines. Not to mention all the aches and pains. Bad back. The hip and knee replacements is through the roof. He only in his 60s, so he my age. See what I'm saying? He my age. I'm almost 70. But I'm just not going to just get to be 70. And this is what people don't understand, Kathy. I got to work to get 70. I can't just lolly and get 70. Because you'll look up, you've been sitting down too much. You've been just sitting. You ain't even paying no attention how much you've been sitting. You ain't been moving like you're supposed to be moving. Then you ain't been eating like you're supposed to be eating, because a lot of times we just eat conveniently. We be eating convenient. We don't be wanting to cook every day like that. Now, sometimes we lucky we got somebody cooking their food to warm up the next day so somebody can cook again, but typically, no. No, we not cooking like that. Americans eat mad pizzas, mad frozen food. The frozen food section stay packed in the store, big old refrigerators. All that stuff is in a bag, frozen. They not cooking, they warming stuff up. It's the warm-up generation, you know what I'm saying? And it's just crazy because we don't have no way to see who's sick. What's up, G. Lisa? You know what I'm saying? So when we ain't got no way to know who's sick, man, it's just everything's cool. And it's like they can't say nothing because it'll affect their money. They can't say nothing. They got to get this money. Look at this money. They got to get this money. That's why they don't like MLK Day. Because they don't make no money off MLK Day because it ain't associated with cooking. Think about that. They don't like MLK Day. They don't like Columbus Day. They don't like those days. They don't like President's Day because they don't make no money on them days. They like New Year's Eve. They like Christmas. They like Memorial Day. They like Labor Day. They like Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's what they like. They like the Super Bowl because that's a holiday. You know how much money they make the Super Bowl? They like Halloween. They love Halloween. They like Valentine's Day. Money Day. They like the money days. They like Valentine's Day way more than they like President's Day. They love they make bank on Valentine's Day. They make bank on Halloween because once people stop having children and they couldn't make no money, they start making the adults dress up for Halloween. Y'all ain't noticed the play? It's less babies. And Whistler was a whole bunch of babies, so they made a lot of money. Everybody had a bunch of babies. Now they ain't got that many babies. Halloween ain't nothing because the kids, it's not enough kids. So now they got the adults dressing up. They got adult costumes. They made Halloween for adults now. It's adult, you know what I'm saying? It's unbelievable. Halloween is an adult holiday now. They wasn't making as much money they wanted to make on Valentine's Day. So they made it about being intimate. So you got to go get rooms and stuff. You got to spend, you didn't spend no money on Valentine's Day. Nobody spent no money. My daddy didn't spend no money on Valentine's Day. He get some candy for my mama and me and my sister. That was it. Can't do that no more on Valentine's Day. On Valentine's Day, you gotta go on a trip. You gotta rent an expensive room. And a room that's $90 on Valentine's Day is $300. It's $300. If you want to go to the Sybaris, they got the big one that's like a 250, 300. It's got the heated garage, so your woman ain't got to have no clothes on. She can just have a robe on. It's real. You know what I'm saying? Man, try to get a room. Try to get a Sybaris on Valentine's Day. It's gonna be $1,000, $1,200. If you want to get that one with the garage and all that, the one I used to get, it's gonna cost you. I think they got a lover's lane too. I think they got. They're making money. In the meantime, our health is decreasing extremely fast. Extremely fast. Overall, the health of the U.S. population is a mixed picture. While there have been improvements in life expectancy and some disease rates, the U.S. lags behind other high-income countries in several key areas. It has the lowest life expectancy at birth, higher rates of preventable death, and higher rates of chronic disease like obesity and diabetes. They call obesity a disease. Leprosy used to be a disease. They call obesity, overeating, and getting extremely big is a disease. How is that a disease? How is overeating and getting extremely big a disease? That doesn't make no sense. They say it's a disease. Look at this crazy stuff. Americans borrowed $74 billion to cover medical expenses in 2024. Americans borrowed $74 billion to cover medical bills in 2024. I'm going to get back to this, but let me talk about this before we read this. You see how some people going out here and they're making good money. They got a good job. They're making good money. They taking all that money back when you get a little older and get sick. Everything you work for, they take it back. And you pass away poor with a reverse mortgage on your house. That's what happened to my parents. When my mother got cancer, it drained my mom and daddy flat broke. And for some reason, they didn't tell me and my sister we could have saved the house. They didn't tell us. I talked to my sister. My sister said she had no idea that they went and got a reverse mortgage. They didn't tell us. And you see what I'm saying? They ain't tried to take care of it on themselves and let them people come and cheat them. Lost the house. All them years we had the house gone. Didn't tell us nothing. Because when my mother got that cancer, they thinking, boom, they're going to go get the treatment. She's going to be all right. She's going to go back to work. She never went back to work. She passed away in the hospital. I seen her at the hospital, and she said, come here, Mike. And I leaned over, she said something. I don't know what she said, but she was so weak and so sick. I didn't want to try to make her repeat it. I just wanted to relax. I said, okay. I don't know what she said. Still today, I wonder, what did she say to me? I don't know what she said. And that was it. Next thing I heard, probably later that night or early that next day, she had passed away. She was so sick. And they give her like 8 pills for the cancer. Each pill is like $300, $400, $500. Something crazy. Something crazy. I don't remember the numbers, but it was crazy. Just for like 7 pills, it's like thousands. Something crazy. People that know the details know what I'm talking about. That cancer medicine you got to get. Man, one pill is hundreds of dollars. They only give you like 7 or something like that. It's totally unaffordable. These people losing everything they worked their whole life for. They lose it back to the medical system. They lose it all. Especially that generation. They didn't know nothing. They didn't have no financial literacy. They came from Alabama, Mississippi, and they was born in the 30s. Wasn't no social media. Wasn't no social media gurus to tell them nothing. The only thing they had to watch was TV and listen to the radio. There was no information out here. None. How you going to get information when nobody knows no information? Nobody knows nothing. Nobody knew anything in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, and 90s. Nobody knew all this stuff y'all know now because of social media. Nobody knew none of that. I know it sounds weird to you if you're young. You're like, what? Man, nobody knew most of the stuff y'all know. Nobody knew none of that. Zero. Zero. Because with social media, let's say I'm studying ancient Kemet. I got to go study it myself and get information. But with social media, he studied it, she studied it, they studied it, and they find information I ain't seen, and they posting it. So now I can get more information because it's like, imagine one person study and imagine 2,000 people study and being posted. So you're getting all the information from all different places because they found books and stuff that you hadn't find. Because back then, you couldn't find no information because you had to know what you was looking for to get the book, and the library didn't necessarily have all the books. So how you going to get information when you don't know what you're searching for? You can't. You can't find something you don't know what you're looking for. What do you put in? Like even now, if you use Google, I have to keep putting in a different command for Google to find what I'm looking for. If you don't put the right command in there, y'all ain't notice that. If you don't type the right thing, it won't, you're like, oh, I got to reword it. Reword it. Then it'll finally show you what you're looking for. So this situation with health is critical. It's critical. And don't listen to people that's going to blow it off, because when you sick, you're going to always wish you didn't listen to them. They always talking based on nobody sick. But nobody never gets sick. Nobody never gets diabetes and have to go to dialysis and say the same thing they were saying before they got dialysis. They'll come over and tell you, oh, you're going to die anyway. Da, 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 da. They only saying that because they ain't on dialysis, because they ain't had a stroke, because they ain't had an amputation. That's the only reason they're saying that. Don't listen to them. You're going to wish you wouldn't have. Americans borrowed $74 billion to cover medical bills last year in 2024. $74 billion. The inflated cost of health care resulted in 31 million Americans borrowing $74 billion to cover their health care expenses in 2024, according to a recent Gallup poll. Over 3,500 people were polled by Gallup and West Health, a group of nonprofit healthcare organizations, on November 11th through the 18th, 2024. Americans under 50 years old, under 50, borrowed more for healthcare expenses. Why you should care? Approximately 18% of young adults aged 18 to 29 said they needed to borrow to pay more for healthcare costs, with similar numbers reported by adults 30 to 49 years old. However, only 9% of Americans 50 to 64 years old and only 2% of individuals 65 years old said they had to borrow money to cover their medical bills, according to a new Gallup poll. More than 50% of people polled say they borrow at least $500 or more to pay medical bills. About 58% of Americans say they borrow $500 or more for medical expenses, while 38% report borrowing less than $500, which collectively amounts to roughly $74 billion. 51% of men admitted to borrowing $1,000 or more to pay for health care bills, compared to 36% for women. So we 51%, the women's only 36%. Meanwhile, half of Americans 50 years old and older admit they borrowed $3,000 or more to pay for healthcare expenses in the last 12 months. But this amount was different for other age groups, with 30 to 49-year-olds saying they borrowed $750, and 18 to 29-year-olds borrowed $300. Medical debt worries high among Americans. 58% of people admit they are concerned that a major health event might lead to personal medical debt, including 28% of respondents who say they are very concerned about the possibility. About 52% of Americans 65 years old and older say they are somewhat or very concerned about the possibility of medical debt if they experience a major health event or someone in their home. Gallup noted that there are 5 Americans under the age of 65 years old say they are somewhat or very concerned about potential medical debt. Separately, 62% of African Americans and 63% of Hispanic Americans say they are somewhat or very concerned about facing medical debt, compared with 56% of white Americans who have the same concern. Meanwhile, 62% of women report their concerns about medical debt at a higher rate than 54% of men. The medical debt worries are also shared over 6 in 10 Americans living in homes earning up to $120,000 per year. However, this uneasiness does decline with people earning more money, with 40% of Americans making $180,000 or more still admit they have concerns regarding medical debt. Now, one thing is interesting. You notice they said that people that make more money have less concern. But you know what's very peculiar about that and very interesting? The best, cleanest food, the best plant-based food costs more money. So those don't have money is drinking water out the sink or water out of plastic bottles. Those with money have expensive filtration systems in their home, or they're buying cases of Spring Valley water in glass bottles. They're buying the top of the line fruits and vegetables. Everything they're buying is organic. Poor people, you look at the organic bell peppers and you look at the regular bell peppers and you buy the regular ones because you can't buy as many of the organic as you can the regulars. You can't afford organic. Organic is more expensive. So there's no coincidence that people with more money don't have as much health problems because typically people with more money don't eat what the poor people eat. The whole plant-based movement is for the rich. It's for people with money. It's plant-based veganism is not for poor people. This is upper class eating. And I keep trying to get brothers and sisters to see that. You don't want to, you want to eat the way you want to eat. That's what they want you to do. I always, when I talk about health and business, I always think about I was young. I got out of high school, I worked for a book factory, and then me and my girlfriend got together and I worked for a stock exchange place down on LaSalle and Wabash. I think that is. No, LaSalle. Well, it's on LaSalle down there, but I forgot which one of the streets across go this way. It might be Wabash. And one day, while working at the stock exchange, they gave a memo out to all the employees. Now, they gave it to us, but we were low-level workers. But this was really for the corporate guys in the office. So you know what the memo said? Now, this is back in 1977, 78. Like around 78. Y'all, I swear to God. They gave out a memo. And the memo said, in so many words, if you are overweight and unhealthy, you will not get a promotion. This is 78. It said if you're overweight and you're in bad health, you will not get a promotion because all of these people that's overweight and eating whatever ain't taking care of themselves. If you get sick, the insurance company for the job got to pay that money and they got to find a replacement for you. If you ain't taking care of yourself and then you out because you sick, they got to move somebody up real quick. They got to pay them a higher salary while they're still paying your salary. So they said, unless you healthy and you look like you could take a higher position and maintain that position, you ain't getting a job. Now, let me show you something. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. Now, no, let me see if I can find a good picture though. Well, I'll just show any picture. Don't gotta be clear, as long as I can make my point. Yeah, here we go. Now, let me show you something. And when you go back out on your city, and you in your city, go downtown, go outside in the morning and see if I'm lying or not. Watch this. Back when I was young, right? And we used to watch TV. You know what the image of a boss used to be? The image of a boss used to be a chubby guy. The image of a boss was a guy that was chubby. This was the image of a boss. Now he's short, so they're not really showing you that he represents a short, chubby guy. But look, smoking a cigar, unhealthy. Chubby, unhealthy. If you go downtown Chicago or any big city, use anything, and you go in the morning, if you get up in these cities in the morning, early in the morning, and you're moving around 5 or 6 o'clock, you will see mostly white Americans exercise. They have gyms to go to before work. Some of them have gyms at the job, but you will see bike riding early in the morning. I used to drive Uber. I used to pick them up and take them to the gym early so they can go get their workout, go back home and go to work. If you go to LA Fitness or any of these workout gyms, the big ones, and if you get there, let's say they open at 5:30. If you get there at 5:30, won't be nobody there. At 7 o'clock, in the morning, it'll get packed. It'll stay packed for like 30 or 45 minutes, and then they leave. They're going to run home, take a shower, and go to work. Because now the image of a boss or an executive is you got to be in shape. You got to be in shape. You got to be in shape. The image of a business executive, you have to be in shape. You will see no overweight, not one. You will not see one picture of a business executive overweight. Not one. Not at one. Google it if you think I'm lying. On the image that they're putting out here for you to be successful in America. For you to be considered successful in America, you got to be in shape. You got to be fit. You got to be fit. You cannot be overweight. And they're up early in the morning and they must stay in shape to be considered and be taken serious at these jobs. That's for the men and the women. You must be in shape. Nobody's out of shape. Nobody's chubby. Not a one. And every picture you will see, no picture of anybody chubby. When you search executive and when you go downtown to these jobs, you're not going to see nobody that's getting the big money. Because like I said, I drove Uber and I picked up bosses. I came after everybody got home. So I didn't work. I didn't go downtown when the regular employees get off at 5. I got downtown at 7. So I picked up bosses. I didn't pick up the lower level employees. And I'm telling you right now, it's crazy because I remember when I was working when they initiated that ideology. You see what I'm getting at? When I was working downtown as a youngin in 1978, that's when they put that into play. They put that into play because it involves money. And so all these Whole Foods, Sprouts, all that, that's for corporate America. That's why you look at plant-based food. That's why it's that expensive. Because it ain't for you if you're poor. You understand? How can we get military members to be in shape? They don't want they don't care about military members because they're finna replace them with drones and cyborgs and robots. They're finna replace them. All war gonna be electronic. Drones. They ain't gonna use soldiers no more. Soldiers is out of here. They're gonna use drones. They're gonna use drones, self-driving tanks, self-driving jets, fighter jets. Won't be no pilot in it. The jet will be it'll be a drone jet. See what I'm saying? The same technology they got in the drones, once they get that down, they're going to put it in the jets. They're going to put it in the tanks. They're going to put it in the warships. All this stuff will be. And in the jobs, it's going to be AI and stuff. So what I'm saying now, I'm just showing you what it was, but it's not going to be that there either because they just going to get rid of people. It's only going to be a few people working. But you are a liability if you get sick. If you don't take care of yourself, you're a liability. They want a long-term investment. If you're going to be at this corporation, they don't want you to be there. You eating all kind of junk. You all overweight. And now instead of you being there and moving up and being there till retirement, you ain't going to be here but 7 years, 5 years. They got to replace you. And they got to pay all your medical costs. They're not finna do that. You're going to have to be in shape. This is what they're pushing. And if you come to Chicago, if you think I'm lying, come to Chicago and go up on the north side and go downtown. And you're going to see them up early in the morning jogging before they go to work. Some of them even riding bikes to work. They have to work out to get a raise. If you don't work out, you ain't getting no raise. They're going to raise the one that looks the part. And I'm showing you the imagery. I'm showing you the imagery of what they consider looking the part. This is what they consider looking the part. Nobody in this picture is overweight. Look at the brother. Look at the women. Look at the women. Show me one person overweight. I'm saying all that to say that's why the food's so expensive, because it's for the top epsilon. It's for the, you know what I'm saying? It's not for the poor people. It's for bosses. Whole Foods is for bosses. And when you go to Whole Foods, you can come to Chicago, go to Whole Foods down Roosevelt Road. You're going to see new Jaguars in the parking lot. You're going to see Benzes. You're going to see really expensive cars at Whole Foods. Have you paid attention? Like, if you live in Chicago and you go to Whole Foods and look at the caliber of people coming in there, it's gonna be young people or people that's got pretty good jobs making money, and it's gonna be some really people with a lot of money coming in there. You can't tell because they don't drive no Bentleys or nothing. You know what I'm saying? But you can tell, you can look in the parking lot and tell because this is who Whole Foods is for this. Show me one person overweight or out of shape. When you search executive on Google, this what they're going to show you is their idea and their image of executive. This is why Donald Trump had to hide all that fat and stuff. He had to do everything he could, spray paint his face and everything so he won't look as fat as he is. Because if he looked as sloppy as he was, he wouldn't have won. That's absolute fact. Because it's an expense. They don't want to have to pay for your medical. And so the best food is for the rich. And the rest of everybody else, you live in a food desert. The good food is for this imagery right here. This is the Whole Foods. And we know a whole lot of meat. Maybe a little chicken, the white meat on the chicken, maybe a little fish, lots of vegetables and fresh fruit. That's what they promote with the rich. They don't promote steak and all that. Them the people, that's all these medical reports come out. When you go and you search diabetes and you search cancer and just read how it's written, and you can tell it's written for highly educated people, it's not written for regular people. All the medical reports and stuff. Who's reading them? Who's reading all these medical reports? Who's keeping up with how many people sick, how much they spending for health insurance? Who reading that? Because guess what? We just go from day to day, from year to year, eating bad. Let's finish in a second. Just look at this. Pay attention. Think about it. If you're an executive and you work with one of these big firms and you're the ones that insuring or got money, or you're working with the pharmaceutical industry, but you're the money makers in that. You're the money makers with the machinery, x-ray machines and all that. You're the corporate people that run the hospitals, that run the medical. What do? What are you reading? You're reading information about how much money the medical industry is making, how much they spending, how much insurance is. So you're reading information like this. The global diabetes care market is a massive industry, estimated to be worth billions of dollars. They ain't even put no number on it. In 2025, the market is projected to reach 34.51 billion and is expected to grow to 62 billion by 2032. That's how much they're going to make off of diabetes, according to Biospace. This includes revenue from various aspects of diabetes treatment, including devices, medications, and related services. In the US alone, the total cost of diabetes, including direct medical costs and lost productivity, was estimated at 412 billion, which really is 413 because it's 112.9 billion in 2022. Billion. Look, 412 billion. Look, economic costs of diabetes, global diabetes healthcare expenditures. I hope y'all see what I'm showing you. This is what they're reading. They're projecting how many people going to be sick. Now listen, if they're going to go from 34 billion to 60-something billion of people getting sick, and you work with the companies that's reading that, are you going to be one of the billions? No. If you work in an industry that's making that money and you're reading that diabetes going to double and triple and y'all going to make more money, are you going to be one of the people to get diabetes? No. You make money off of diabetes. You're not finna get it. You see all the information. It's telling you, oh yeah, twice as many people going to get sick off of diabetes. They're going to be like, well, I ain't finna be one of them. You getting all the information how bad it is. The average American don't know that. So you walking around, you 38 years old, you 42 years old, eating all kind of garbage. You got a little tummy on you. You ain't really keeping up with how much sweets you eating, how much stuff you eating is turning into sugar. So you're eating a bunch of sugary stuff. Then the other food you eating is sugar, turns to sugar. Then you're drinking alcohol, that turns to sugar. So you don't even know how much sugar you intaking. You don't know nothing about the business, but you're the money in the bank. They taking your money by selling you the stuff. Then they making money off you after you get sick with the stuff they selling. That's how they invest. I'll invest in these cookies. I'll invest in this sugar. And then I'll invest in what's going to happen to you when you buy my other stuff. I can't lose. How could I lose? I'm investing in what you eating to get sick. I'm investing in the medical procedure when you get sick. And I'm investing in the medicine you're going to need when you get sick. I'm getting money. Okay? So when you see them making investments, a lot of times they done bought stock in 5 related companies, but you just don't know how these companies are related. So they're investing in chemotherapy. They're investing in dialysis machines. They're investing in the machines they need for heart surgery. They investing in that. And they investing in what you got, what they need to make sure they can get that money. They invest in what they need to happen to you to get the money. And then in the Black and Hispanic neighborhoods, they make sure you got the trash needed to get your money. Every time you look up, one of these Hollywood executives, one of these blacks that made all this money is sick and broke. Every time you look up. Every time you look up, they made all this money. Next thing you know, they're not doing so good. 3 years later, talking about could you send money, try to help them? They on hard times since they got sick. All that money gone, just like that. Because they know what you eating. They know. They know the results of what you eating. They invest. Investors have to keep up with that kind of stuff. They keep up with it. They keep up with it. They watch. If you start cleaning it up, you stop eating that stuff, they go and they invest in health stuff. Oh, they not finna get sick no more. They go invest over there. They pull the money, they go invest over there. They'll go, boom. And, like Borden's. Borden's seen. Oh, they're not drinking milk no more. Borden's went and invested in silk. They say they owned by Danone. They say it's not owned by Borden's. It said they owned by a company called Danone. Danone acquired White Wave Foods, the parent company of Silk. So they got parent companies. Okay? They got parent companies. All right, see, look. They got parent companies. So now let me see who owns Danone. See? Watch this. Now let me see who owns Danone. Danone is a company in France. So it's not Borden's. So they say. Danone is a French multinational food products corporation based in Paris. It was founded in 1919 in Barcelona. You see how they do? You see how they do? Now, Danone, who is Danone? Well, you're going to have to dig deep to find out who they are. This is Danone. They started in 1919. So if they started in 1919, it wasn't no plant-based food, so they were selling the other stuff. And when they seen that other stuff disappearing, what they do? They jumped ship. Look, these 10 companies control everything you buy. Nestle, Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, General Mills, Kellogg's, Associated British Food, Mondelez, Mars, Danone. All right. Okay, here we go. See? 10 companies control everything we buy. 10 of them. And Danone is one of them. Okay? Hold on. Let's go down the rabbit hole. You don't get this nowhere. Support the channel. Nobody's going to tell you any of this. This is the world we living in. That these people are playing both sides of the fence. And as long as if you eat bad, they'll stay over there to get that money. If they see you beginning to eat good, they'll come over on the other side to get the money. And if you don't watch them, they'll poison the good food for the people that don't know. So they'll sell you some vegan stuff that ain't quite kosher. That works to their benefit because if they can call it vegan and sell it to you and it's no good, then the people that don't want to change the way they eat say, oh man, that old vegan food ain't no good. Look, it made somebody sick. All of that stuff is done on purpose. All that's done on purpose. And then you start talking crazy because you don't want to eat right anyway. So the fact that they can go sell some junk and call it vegan, you go for the okie doke. And you go back and eat their other food, not knowing they the ones that's making both of the food anyway. And you need to be standing on something to make it clean rather than saying it ain't clean. Oh, that ain't clean. I might as well eat the junk. No, you need to fight to make it clean. No, I ain't going to fight to make it clean. I don't want to eat right anyway. See? Here go the known right here. These are the people that control all our food. 10 of them. They battling to buy each other out, right? So they'll eventually get it down to 5. See? They'll get it down to 5. They'll get it down to 5. And these same companies got other companies that you don't know is theirs that's invested in the medical industry, that's invested on when they find out whatever in their food make you sick and whatever treatment or medicine you need once it make you sick, they invest in that. They invest in that. If they know they putting a lot of sugar in their stuff in this and they find out, well, our food is causing a lot of diabetes and strokes or whatever. But what can we invest in the stroke industry and the diabetes industry? They go invest over there. So you go buy it from them, and then no matter which way you go, when they're gonna make money. They're gonna make money when you buying it. They're gonna make money when you sick. They're gonna make money on both sides of you. And when you're talking like me to eat right and stuff, they're gonna shadow ban you. They're gonna shut your channel down. They're gonna try to not spread the message because you're gonna make them lose money. That's why they won't sell you fruits with no seeds, so you won't go plant them in the back. When I was a little boy, we had some watermelon. I took the watermelon seeds and planted on the side of the house, and watermelons grew. So that's why they want you. They won't sell you seedless grapes, seedless watermelon, seedless oranges. They don't want you to have no seedless ganja. So you ain't got to go to the you got to go to the dispensary because you ain't got no seeds to grow your own. You ain't got Food and Drug Administration. 100% correct, Kathy. You understand? And then the stuff be addicted. You know how hard it be to get off that stuff? You know how hard it is to get off your favorite chips or your favorite soda or your favorite cookies or your favorite sandwiches you like to make or your favorite burger or whatever? That's why I be helping people because I don't be phony. You know how hard it was? You know how hard it was to get off McDonald's and stuff like that? You know how hard that is? That's really hard. Don't let no vegan or no plant-based person come and talk to you like that's just so simple. Man, that's hard. That's hard. to change everything you've been doing, to cook different than you got to do. And then you got to try to get your family to eat it, and they don't want to eat it. Like you a woman and you trying to eat better. And you trying to cook for your family. But your husband, he don't want that. He wants you to cook the way you've been cooking. So when you're in that case, cook their food and cook yours on the side and save your family. Cook them. If they just insist, cook them what they cook. But you still sit at the table with what you eating. And over time, you're going to make some of your husband going to be, let me try that. He going to try your lasagna and like it. So guess what he going to start saying when he come in the kitchen and you cooking? You making that lasagna? Yeah, babe. I made a bunch because you keep eating mine up. Now, once you get him on the lasagna, now he wants your cornbread. He wants your this and that. Next thing you know, he switch over. He'll switch over. Because now his taste buds getting better. You keep cooking that stuff, it's smelling good. It's smelling better than his stuff. He started noticing, her food is better than mine. And then when he go to the doctor and the doctor tell him to cut back, ladies, he'll be like, the doctor says it's going to be hard to cut back. He's like, no, my wife, Lisa, she a vegan. She been trying to get me to eat. I think I'll go ahead and eat her food. You know what I'm saying? You make it easy. You make it easy for your wife. You make it easy for your husband. You make it easy for your wife. Stick with it and make the example for everybody. Don't let nobody fool you like, oh, you could just eat that. No, it is definitely going to make you sick. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. You're going to be sick. Like my friend just went to a family reunion for the auntie. She said you should have seen all them pills she had on the desk. She said you should have seen all them pills she got to take to stay alive. How much money they making off that lady with them pills? Because you got to take a pill for the pill. They don't tell you that. And I'm trying to warn people now because America about to hit that wall. Y'all will see. Y'all will see. It's finna be dialysis in their 30s. We already had the brother from Black Panther, colon cancer in his young 40s. That means he started getting it in his 30s. It's going to go lower and lower. We're going to have all these people with colon cancer in their 30s. Breast cancer in their 20s and 30s. Prostate cancer in their early 40s. Watch. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse and younger and younger and younger. And the health cost is going to go up and up and up. That's why Black Americans are the fastest growing vegans. Because we sick. And we got a young generation. They didn't see mama sick. They didn't see daddy sick. They didn't see grandpa. They ain't not going. Too many Black Americans is seeing it up front and personal. And one thing about it is, the crazy thing is, your mentality is like, well, you're going to die anyway. So your mentality is like, well, that's way down there. But everybody, when they get down there, they wish they didn't get down there. Okay? Everybody that say, oh, man, you're going to die anyway, blah, 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 blah. And everybody that keep eating like that and go down here, I don't care if they 50 or 60 years old, when they 60 years old and they get that sickness, they regret it. They never be like, well, I'm 60, so it's cool. I live more. No. Everybody want to live when they finally get down there. They give you the impression that, Oh, I'm 20, 30. You're going to die anyways. So that's impressive. When they get 60, 50 and 60, they ain't going to care if they get sick. Huh. When they get there, they do not want to die anyway. And they do not want to be sick. They do not. And they be sick for a long time. Like my friend that just went to her auntie thing, her auntie 80 something, I think almost 90. And that lady regret being sick. She kept asking my friend, so you a vegetarian, so you eat no meat? And she said, no. She said, you look good, keep on. And she said she said the way her auntie was talking to her, she was kind of like she was saying she wished she would have did it. The way she said it was real spooky the way she kept asking me about it. And she kept encouraging me. And she said, I believe she kept encouraging me because she ain't been feeling good all these years. I said, yep. She telling you, don't do what I did, baby. Don't do what I did. Keep doing what you're doing. You don't want to be like me, baby, how I am. You don't want this. You don't want to feel bad for 20 years, 30 years. Because my daddy didn't feel good for 40 years. For 40 years, he was on high blood pressure medicine, which anybody tell you you don't feel good. It messes with you when you take it. My daddy was on high blood pressure medicine for over 40 years. I was like 50 something, taking care of him, like mid 50s towards late 50s, taking care of him. He gonna tell me, you're gonna be just like me. I said, Daddy, I'm almost 60. You've been on blood pressure medicine since you was 40. Be quiet, Daddy, and eat your food. He said, you right. I know I'm right. Sit back and eat your food. Stop talking to me. You don't know what you're talking about, Daddy. Daddy, you don't know what you're talking about. You've been sick since you was 40. Okay? I'm already doing better than you. What are you talking about? If I was going to be just like you, I would have been sick 17 years ago. Dude. He's talking about, you right. Daddy, eat your food. Eat your food, Daddy. And stop talking to me. Okay? Stop talking to me. I'm the boss now. I'm the one bathing you and stuff. You don't run nothing no more. Eat these vegetables and drink this juice. Okay? I've been poured out your Hawaiian punch. It ain't going to be no more Hawaiian punch up in here. Okay? I tried to make his last days as healthy as possible. As soon as I moved in, I went in the refrigerator, poured all the Hawaiian punch out. Why y'all giving him all this dye, man? And he 80 years old. Y'all think he could drink this dye and stuff? Man, people don't, it's crazy. My god sister was taking care of him, but she weighed probably 300 pounds. She gone. She passed away already. Listen, my god sister was supposed to be taking care of my daddy. I had to put her out, right? Right? It's my mother's friend's daughter. Listen, man, she younger than me. Why she unalived already? I'm telling y'all the real. She gone. Passed away like a couple years ago. Younger than me. I'm 67. She probably would have just been like 60 or 59. Gone. Been sick a long time. Now she gonna take care of my daddy when she couldn't even take care of herself. And it's all funny. But there's no way that woman should be gone that young. When black people used to live to be 100, 90, and you gone at 60, that's like 40 years. That's 30, 40 years. You know what I'm saying? To the point where y'all done made 60 old. So I'm 67. Y'all think this is old because you've been eating so much poison. But if I'm 67 and I lived to 97, you telling me I could be old that long? Well, where's middle age at? We got to bring middle age back. Young, middle age, and old. But because you eat so bad, You basing old off of your early death. You dying early. Okay? Each piece of junk food by itself wouldn't be too bad on its own. Yes, it would. Because they put so much salt in chips that if you ate chips all the time, you would still have high blood pressure. If you eat trash consistently, you're going to pay. Also, it affects your taste buds. So it's going to be impossible to eat junk and eat healthy. Because once you eat healthy, you ain't going to like that food. It tastes nasty. So in order for you to eat the basic chips with the regular salt on it, the basic candy, you're going to have to still be eating junk. Because if you give me like a regular candy bar, I ain't gonna like it. It's gonna taste nasty. If it's not all chocolate, like real chocolate, like milk chocolate, tastes nasty to me. So if you can still eat junk, that means your taste buds are still gone. That means you eating a lot of junk. Because once you clean up your taste buds, you cannot eat that stuff. You cannot. RT. Trust me what I'm telling you. When you clean up and your taste buds go back to natural, you ain't going to be able to eat it. As a matter of fact, if you use good salt, like sea salt, and you change up the way you eat, you can't put too much of that on your food. And this sea salt, you still just want a little bit. Once you get off salt, you don't like salt no more. You can, once you taste natural food and your body changes to eat natural food, that's how you like it. You ain't gonna want no whole bunch of sugar on your stuff. You ain't gonna want no whole bunch of salt on your stuff because it tastes nasty. It only tastes good because you've been fed it as a kid and you think it's good, but it's nasty. All that candy and stuff, that stuff nasty. Absolutely nasty. I remember I had been a vegan a long time, and when I got stabbed up, I was back in Chicago, and I didn't know how to walk. And they had made me a bed downstairs in the dining room so I wouldn't have to go up and down the stairs. And so now I'm back in Chicago. I can't get my vegan food. I'm trying to adapt because I'm on crutches and stuff. I eventually got it together. So one day I was real hungry. I was in the kitchen. My daddy came and put his stuff he be buying on the counter. So I looked over there and seen some little Debbie's over there. Now, I don't eat that stuff. I've been a strict vegan for years. But I was starving. I was hungry. And it ain't meat. So I was like, okay. Man, I went and got the little Debbie's and opened it and bit it. And I was like, oh, it was nasty as hell. It was nasty. I spit it out. I said, what the hell is this? What is this? I had to spit it out. You could taste it was nasty. It was like, oh man, this is what they eating? It was nasty. I spit it out. Oh, what is this? Then my cousin had a Hostess pie one time, and it was all gel in there. I said, what the hell is that? Because when I was a kid, Hostess pie had apple chunks in it. With with the gel from the real apples. And Hostess cherry pie it was dark red like cherries, like a burgundy red. Now it's a new red. I don't know what that red is. And it's just gel. There's no apple in the apple pie. It's like some kind of fake gel. Whereas back when we had it, it was real apple in there. It was real natural ingredients made the crust. It was real sugar on the top. It was all real ingredients. over the years, they started making the food with fake ingredients, and they started making the clothes with fake ingredients. So they started putting fake ingredients in the food, and they started making the clothes polyester. All that changed in the polyester era. When the polyester came out, that's when they polyestered y'all food too. Now your shirt 50% cotton, 50% polyester. Instead of 100, it used to be 100% cotton. Yeah, it went from natural candy to Jolly Ranchers. It used to be wine candy that was 100% natural. They changed wine candies to Jolly Ranchers. We used to call them wine candies. And the wine candies were 100% natural, real stuff. And it was so real that the parents would not let the little kids eat the grape ones or the cherry ones. You could eat the strawberry ones, but your mamas wouldn't let the kids eat the cherry ones or the grape ones, because if you eat too many cherry wine candies, you would get drunk. You would get drunk. Kids would get silly. So your mama said you can eat only one of them red ones, because you eat 2 or 3 of them red ones, you're going to get silly. And that's what my mama tell me. She said, I used to be down south. My mama from Alabama. And she said when the cherries used to fall off the tree, she used to watch the birds go down and eat the cherry. And she said they would eat the cherry, son, and they would keep eating them. And then she said the birds would fall out with their legs straight in the air and be drunk. And she said they fall out under the cherry tree, son, and they lay under there for like 45 minutes. And then you could see them start, and they get up and fly away. And she said it'd be drunk birds all under the cherry tree. She said because it'd be wine, because them cherries be done fell there, and they be fermenting, and the sun be on them, right? And it'd be wine. And she said she used to love watching the birds get drunk. She said first, they keep eating them. Then she said they start stumbling and leaning. And she said they still be trying to eat them. Then they'll fall down and try to get back up, and they'll still try to eat them. And boom, then they will fall, and their feet would be straight in the air. And she said I used to just stare out the window till they wake up. She said you see their legs start kicking first, and they get up and they fly away. You know what I'm saying? So they wouldn't let us eat the cherry or the grape ones. You had to eat the green ones. So that's why we love the green ones, because that's all mama let you eat. You know, was the green ones, was the apple. I think that was apple. That's the only one she would let you eat. She wouldn't let you eat them other ones. It was called wine candy. Imagine that. Now they call them Jolly Ranchers, but it used to be called wine candies by a whole different company. They had them wrappers on there now. Now the Jolly Ranchers, I don't know what that is. That's like some syrup, fake syrup stuff. Ain't no real fruit in it. And McDonald's. At McDonald's, there was a whole job cutting potatoes. They didn't have them frozen fries at McDonald's when I was a little boy. A job at McDonald's was cutting potatoes, and you would cut potatoes, and you would put them in the basket, the same basket they put down in the grease. That's the basket you used to put them in when they was cut, and they would put them down in water so they wouldn't turn brown. And then when they need more potatoes, they would lift them up, let the water drain off of them, and when no water, then dump them in the fryer, and then dip them in the fryer. So they used to have 2 things over here with water and 2 things over here with hot oil. And they would take them out to 2 things with water, hang them up, let all the water drip out, then put them in the oil. That's why their fries was the best ever. They used to be real potatoes. Then after so long, they started bringing them in them bags, them potatoes with all that bleach on them. That's why now the potatoes, you got to eat them before they get cold. When they get cold, you can tell if you eating semen or something. I don't know what the hell that is, but they nasty once they get cold. But back when we was coming up, they was real potatoes. So all you had to do is when you hit them in the bag, just keep the bag closed, and they would get softer and softer. That's how we used to eat them as a kid. You get 2 orders of fries in a bag and you keep it closed with air in it. And it be hot in there. And then they be soft where they just be wiggling. And then sometimes you go back, dump a bag of potato chips in there, bag of Jay's potato chips, and shake up the potato chips with the fries. Hey, that's the best potatoes in the world right there. French fries and potato chips, off the chain. Jay's potato chips. That was a black factory that made the best potato chips in America. It was Jay's. Look, we're going to keep having this conversation, right? Eat healthy and take care of yourself. And once again, look at how we eat bad from month to month. So yeah, and not only do you got to eat right, you gotta exercise, but you got to eat right. You got to exercise. I've been trying to step my exercise game up. I just got these new 15s today. I just got these 15s because I'm trying to do my curls, and I've been doing it with these 20s, but I'm not getting as many reps with these 20s. They too heavy, so they good for like certain type of exercise, like when I'm laying on my back, stuff like that. But as far as just straight curls, I went down 5 pounds. These are easier to get more reps than these. So I just got these today. I had to get something lighter so I can get more reps. More reps is better than heavy as far as building muscle. You know what I'm saying? And I could do a lot. I could do a nice amount of reps with these, but I want to do more. You know what I'm saying? So I just got these. So I just want to show you I'm not playing. These brand new. I just got them today. These are nice. I don't like the steel grips with my hands. I like my hands to be comfortable. Although I wear gloves. You know what I'm saying? I wear gloves. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? Wear gloves. I wear these. Wear gloves so you can protect your hands. I wear these. That they get kind of toe up. You know, protect your hands. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to end up with calluses and all that. But you got to eat right and you got to work out. Yeah, they turn to cement. You know what I'm saying? You know, they just selling us junk. But what we need to do is we need to go get that money too. We need to invest in better food. We need to invest in that. That's going to be where the money is at. So you need to be trying to come out with some type of product, some type of juice drink, some type of natural soda, some type of natural dessert, especially ladies. Ladies, you need to be in the kitchen trying to master an all-natural apple pie or sweet potato pie. You're going to make a fortune you'll make a fortune, especially Black Americans, because a lot of times the food just be American food that we all eat. But Black Americans got like their own specific cuisine. So a lot of people like to buy that. Like a lot of people like to buy like Italian food. A lot of people like to buy like that. So a lot of people like to buy authentic like African American cuisine. So like sweet potato pies, you put them in Whole Foods and Sprouts, you'll sell out. You'll sell out. Plant-based, and you master it to be just like your grandmama's, but without them ingredients, you'll shut the game down. But if you don't begin to turn your health around, and then you mislead your husband and your wife and then your children, and then they're going to mislead the grandchildren, the family going to go through a lot of funerals and a lot of hospital visits and take a whole lot of medicine because each generation is deteriorating from this. This bad food is actually deteriorating each generation. Each generation is getting sick earlier. Seriously. Each generation. It's bad. Don't let nobody fool you. It's real bad. The U.S. spends most and ranks last in assessment of 9 countries' healthcare. We the worst, healthiest country. That don't make no sense. Look, millions of Americans admit to borrowing $74 billion to cover medical expenses in last year, 2024. That don't make no sense. Look, we at the bottom. Look, we at the bottom. That's how sick we are. And look how much money they making. Look how much money they making off of you being sick. Look at healthcare. $3.1 trillion. The only thing making more money is housing. Housing making 3.3. Healthcare is almost going to make more money than housing soon. What y'all think about that? Housing is 3.1 trillion. Healthcare is 3.1 trillion. 3.3 versus 3.1. Everything else is 1 trillion, 1 trillion, 700 billion, 2 trillion. Them two, look at them. Pretty soon, healthcare going to pass housing. Now, y'all know that's messed up. The number one moneymaker going to be sick people. What y'all think about that? That's crazy. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. So if you're trying to change the way you eat, you better do it now. You better do it right now. You better change the way you eat. You can keep playing around if you want to, but you better change the way you eat. If you don't change the way you eat, you're going to wish you would have. Start to slowly wean yourself off the garbage. I'm telling you. Wean yourself off the garbage. Don't wait. Especially you men that's supposed to be the head of the family. Don't make your woman have to do it and then you the one stubborn. You be the leader of your family. And stop having your woman have to beg you to eat right when you should be the one leading her to eat right. And if you want to eat right and you really want to get off that stuff, then go to www.veganintel.com and get the easiest way to become a vegan. If you get this manual, you'll be able to take your time and change. instead of just trying to change at once. That's too hard. This the way I did it, so I wrote it down. I just did it naturally because that's the only way I could do it. I had to eliminate one thing at a time. I couldn't just change like that what I'm supposed to eat. So I just kept eating everything I was used to eating, and I just eliminated one thing at a time and keep eating everything else, then two things and keep eating everything else, then three things. That's the best way to do it. Don't go throw all your food out. Don't do that. Eat it up and get to the point where you just don't buy certain things no more. Because there's only a few people be able to just go cold turkey. Most of us can't do it. I couldn't do cold turkey. It took me a while. It took me a long while. I had cleaned up everything. The only thing I was on was fish. And then it took me a minute to finally get off fish. It took me a minute to get off fish. It was easy for me to get off pork because I could still eat chicken. You know what I'm saying? So I did pork real easy. Okay, I got off pork, but I was still eating chicken, beef, and all that. So that was easy. You know what I mean? Because I just go get me, steak sandwiches and all that. So I didn't have to, it was easy to get off the bacon and all that, as long as I had all the other meat. And then I got off the beef. That was a little hard, but then I still had the chicken and the fish, so I was kind of all right. And then once I got off the beef and the the beef and the pork, then I got off the chicken. It was cool. But I went vegan on McDonald's fish fillet sandwich and fries. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's how I went vegetarian. I wasn't eating nothing but McDonald's fish sandwich and fries and Doc's fish wish sandwich. That's what I was eating. My fast food I was eating. I was cooking though. I was cooking a whole bunch of vegetables and stuff. I was making perch and stuff like that. But my day-to-day go-to, because I was a city boy born in the city, you know what I'm saying? I'm the first fast food generation. So I'm still at McDonald's. I can't be cooking like that. I can't be getting off work, coming home, cooking every day. So I was going to McDonald's getting fish fillet and fries. And that's why I love fish fillet and fries. I'm not as far as eating them, but man, fish fillet and fries was everything to me. That's what got me off pork, beef, and chicken. So that's why I be telling you, some of these vegans, they don't teach it right. They don't be teaching you right. These things be very, very important. Whatever you stayed on to get off the other stuff, how you gonna just totally disrespect what you stayed on? Fish fillets helped me go vegan. So that's why I say y'all got it made, because I didn't have Beyond Burgers and all that. Y'all got it made. Y'all could at least go find burgers, and they decent too. The veggie burgers used to be nasty. Y'all got some good plant-based burgers. On my soul. And who gonna argue me? Somebody too young to know? Most people wasn't even here. How many people out here been plant-based 47 years like me? I'm rare. I've been plant-based longer than a lot of people been alive. People, if you 30, you 40, 44, 45, I've been vegan. If you 45, I've been vegan 2 years before you was born. So I know what I'm talking about. You got to use whatever you can to get clean, but your generation got the easiest way to get clean. Y'all got all kind of plant-based milk. Y'all got all kind of plant-based sausages, and that stuff is transitional food. It's not nothing you're going to get on and just eat that as a vegan your whole life. That's to get off the other stuff until you get your game up cooking, until you find out where you can get more vegetables and how to make your sweet potatoes and all of that. It's not to just stay on that. I can't eat that stuff for 47 years. I can't eat vegan burgers for 47 years. Duh. I'm eating whole foods. But I'll still eat that every now and then. It ain't going to do nothing to me. It ain't going to do something to you. But really, it ain't going to do nothing to you at all. It's just not going to give you enough nutrition. Basically, you got to have them plants in you, so your digestion. You understand? You got to get the boo boo out, so you don't have colon cancer. So you got to eat food gonna make you pass waste. So you got to eat wet food. You got to eat some black eyed peas. You got to eat some cabbage. You got to eat some, you know, collard greens, some mustard greens, some spinach. You got to eat some soft stuff, some watermelon, some mangoes, some avocados. You got to eat stuff that's gonna keep your intestines clean. You got to keep your intestines clean. You can't let none just sit in your intestines and get hard and start making polyps. That's going to turn to stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4 colon cancer. Facts. So you got to go get the easiest way to become a vegan, okay? To eat right, all right? That's what you got to do, all right? Make sure you go get the easiest way to become a vegan and change the way you eat, okay? Change the way you eat. Go ahead and do what you got to do, all right? Let's take a break.
Have you ever considered becoming a vegan but didn't know what steps to take? Or started the transition but wasn't able to finish the process? Well, you're in luck because now you have the easiest way to become a vegan. A simple and clear guide to embracing a vegan lifestyle. For more information, please visit www.veganintel.com and get your guide today.
So yeah, get the easiest way to become a vegan, clean it up, eat better, take care of your relatives, and also, you know, with your mate, try to find out what your mate will eat that is healthy and try to, like, without saying nothing, try to, clean them out without them knowing it. If you know your husband loves watermelon or your wife loves cherries, bring her a bunch of cherries. That way you ain't got to really say nothing. She going to knock them out and she going to be happy. She going to love you for bringing the cherries, but she don't know you trying to clean her out. So find out what your husband like, what your man like, what your woman like, what your wife like. Find out what your children like. If there's a certain vegetable that your children, every time you cook it, they eat it like crazy. They're pumping in them to help keep their stomach clean. If there's certain fruit your children like, make sure you keep it there for them. You see, every time your son just be knocking the bananas down, or he be knocking the oranges down, or he love apples. Keep that there for them. So at least if they ain't eating right, they getting enough vegetables and fruit in their body to help them digest that other stuff and make it so they just not full of poisons, that they getting some nutrition and they getting some fruits and vegetables. Get them some beans and rice. And I know white rice. Get off white rice and get basmati rice. Get basmati or jasmine rice. They going to still think it's white rice because it still look like white rice. But it ain't going to be gooey with all that starch in it, where you got to do all that rinsing and all of that. You can see white rice is good. You ever notice white rice when you cook some and then you don't give it to everybody, then the next day you take it out there, it be all gooky. Basmati rice and jasmine rice ain't going to lump up like that and be all like paste. You could take that stuff and hang a picture up. You could take that rice and do like that and stick it up and stick something hanging on the thing. That ain't no good for your inside. Switch to jasmine and basmati. It tastes way better too. Man, it tastes way better. Way better. Now, brown rice you got to get used to because brown rice got like a texture to it. So that's something you got to get used to. But you'll never know the difference between basmati or jasmine. You'll never know the difference. Throw that white rice out. Get basmati. Get jasmine. They don't know. They still going to think it's white rice. It's going to taste better, though. Their beans and rice going to be way better because it ain't going to be all mushy. It's going to be really rice. You know? They're going to tear that up. It ain't going to be so mushy. Well, you making that rice or putting that margarine in that mushy stuff. That white rice is nasty. It just turned to like glue or something. I don't know what that is. It just turned to mush, really. That's why everybody like fried rice, to stop it from mushing up. You understand? So look, eat to live. You know what I'm saying? Clean it up. You know what I'm saying? Stop eating trash from year to year to year to year, all summer long eating garbage, cutting the years on your life. Don't start trying to take that grill out there and grill up some vegetables and grill up something else out there. It's time to put some potatoes on that grill and some bell peppers and stuff on that grill. That's what it's time to do. And try to get off all of them animals and clean your body out. You know what I'm saying? So look, I hope y'all enjoyed that. I hope you got some information from it. And before we go, I'm going to just show this one more time and we out. But just look at how back to back we don't eat good. Back to back. It's a shame. Back to back, we don't eat good. We got to do better. All right? Victory.